The Last Archive. The dying sun of Kepler 247 painted the desert landscape in shades of amber and blood red, its weakening rays barely penetrating the thick atmosphere. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the entrance of what appeared to be an ordinary cave, but her neural scanner told a different story. The readings were unlike anything she'd seen in 15 years of archaeological research. "Are you seeing this?" Sarah's voice crackled through the comm system to her research partner, Dr. Marcus Wong, who monitored from their orbital ship. The scanner's holographic display showed complex energy patterns weaving through the rock like frozen lightning. "Confirmed," Marcus replied, his usual stoic tone tinged with excitement. "Those energy signatures match nothing in our database. Whatever's in there, it's not natural formation." Sarah adjusted her environment suit's settings, watching as the augmented reality overlay highlighted structural patterns in the rock face. The cave entrance wasn't random. It was geometrically perfect, hidden by eons of erosion and dust storms. This was it, the culmination of 3 years of following fragmented clues across 12 star systems. "Beginning initial exploration," she reported, activating her suit's recording systems. "Time mark, 8:47 standard. Permission to proceed." "Granted," Marcus responded after a moment's hesitation. "But Sarah, be careful. Remember what happened on Proxima B." Sarah unconsciously touched the scar on her neck, hidden beneath her suit. The trap that had nearly decapitated her 2 years ago had been a harsh reminder that ancient alien civilizations didn't always want their secrets found. Noted. She stepped into the cave, her boots leaving prints in dust that hadn't been disturbed for millions of years. The passage sloped downward at a precise 15-degree angle, too perfect to be natural. Her suit's lights revealed glyphs carved into the walls, similar to those found on other worlds, but with subtle differences that made her heart race. The passage opened into a vast chamber that defied explanation. Sarah's lights seemed to catch on nothing, yet the space was illuminated by a soft, ambient glow. The walls were covered in what appeared to be liquid metal, flowing in impossible patterns that made her eyes hurt if she looked too long. "Marcus, are you getting this?" Her voice was barely a whisper. Static answered her. She was alone. In the center of the chamber stood a pillar of light, or perhaps it was more accurate to say a column of pure information. Data streamed through it in visible waves, like a waterfall of light and knowledge. Sarah had heard theories about quantum consciousness repositories, but seeing one in person was something else entirely. She approached carefully, her scanner working overtime to process the readings. The pillar responded to her presence, the stream of data slowing, individual symbols becoming visible. They weren't just symbols. They were thoughts, memories, experiences, encoded in a way that transcended traditional data storage. "Remarkable," she breathed, reaching out instinctively before catching herself. Direct contact with unknown alien technology was against every protocol in the book. She pulled her hand back and began setting up her analysis equipment instead. The pillar had other ideas. A tendril of light reached out, crossing the space between them faster than she could react. It touched her suit's glove, and suddenly the world exploded into information. Sarah gasped as knowledge flooded her consciousness, not entering her mind, but linking with it, as if awakening memories she'd always had but never accessed. "Welcome, Memory Keeper." The words formed in her mind, not in any language she knew, but in pure meaning. The quantum consciousness was alive, aware, and it had been waiting for her. Not for humans, not for any random explorer, but specifically for her. "Your neural pattern matches the criteria. You are suitable. We have waited 2.7 million years for you." Sarah tried to pull away, but the connection held firm. The quantum consciousness began to show her images, a civilization that had transcended physical form, a threat from between the galaxies that consumed worlds, a plan set in motion before humans had mastered fire. "Marcus," she called out, fighting rising panic. "Marcus, if you can hear me, I need emergency extraction." There is no danger, the consciousness assured her. You were designed for this moment. What do you mean, designed? I'm human. I was born on Earth. Yes. And no. Your species was guided. Subtle changes over millions of years. We needed a consciousness that could bridge the gap between organic and quantum existence. You are the result. The implications hit Sarah like a physical blow. Her research, her intuitive understanding of alien artifacts, her drive to explore, none of it was random. She had been drawn here, shaped by forces she couldn't comprehend, to serve as a bridge between worlds. The threat approaches your world now. We offer the knowledge to save it, but only through union. Accept and become more than human. Refuse, and your species faces extinction. Sarah's mind raced. Every instinct honed by years of research screamed that this was too dangerous, too overwhelming. But underneath those thoughts, in a place deeper than training or logic, something resonated with the ancient consciousness, a sense of rightness, of destiny fulfilled. The chamber around her pulsed with energy, responding to her thoughts. The flowing patterns on the walls accelerated, and the pillar of light grew brighter. She had a choice to make, but in her heart, she knew she'd made it the moment she stepped into this chamber. "Show me everything," she whispered. The pillar of light expanded, enveloping her in a cocoon of pure knowledge. As her consciousness began to merge with the ancient repository, her last human thought was a hope that humanity was ready for what was coming. Because ready or not, the galaxy was about to change forever. In high orbit, Marcus watched with growing concern as Sarah's vital signs did impossible things. Her neural patterns were rewriting themselves, expanding in ways human brains shouldn't be able to. He reached for the emergency extraction controls, then stopped as new data began streaming from her suit's transmitter. The data was like nothing he'd ever seen. Star charts showing threats hidden in dark space. Technological blueprints that violated known physics. And through it all, a message repeated in every human language. We are not alone. We were never alone. And now we must prepare. The sun of Kepler 247 continued its endless death, but in its light, humanity's next chapter was beginning. Sarah Chen had gone into that cave as an archaeologist searching for humanity's past. She would emerge as something else entirely, a bridge between what humanity was and what it needed to become. And somewhere in the vast darkness between galaxies, ancient enemies stirred, unaware that their carefully laid plans were about to encounter humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt, to change, and to become more than anyone expected them to be. Integration. The quarantine chamber aboard the research vessel Horizon hummed with the sound of medical equipment. Through the transparent isolation field, Sarah Chen floated in a null-gravity suspension, her body surrounded by a cloud of holographic data that pulsed in sync with her heartbeat. It had been 3 days since her extraction from Kepler 247, and she hadn't regained consciousness in the conventional sense. Dr. Marcus Wong stood at the observation window, dark circles under his eyes betraying his lack of sleep. The neural activity readings on his display showed patterns that should have been impossible for a human brain to produce. Sarah's consciousness was expanding, reorganizing itself to accommodate the vast repository of alien knowledge she'd merged with. Her synaptic density has increased by 300% in the last hour alone. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the ship's chief medical officer, reported. She manipulated a holographic display of Sarah's brain structure, highlighting areas of unprecedented growth. By all rights, this level of neural modification should have killed her. Instead, she's adapting. She was designed for this, Marcus muttered, remembering the message that had streamed from Sarah's suit. All of us were, in a way. Millions of years of subtle guidance, leading to this moment. A soft chime interrupted their discussion. Admiral James Chen, Sarah's father and the commander of Earth's Xenorchaeological Defense Division, appeared on the main view screen. His weathered face showed the strain of the past few days. "Report," he demanded without preamble. "No change in her physical condition," "Sir," Elena answered, "but the data she's transmitting, it's revolutionary. The technical specifications alone could advance our understanding of quantum physics by centuries." The Admiral's expression darkened. "And the military applications?" "James," Marcus interjected, using the Admiral's first name despite protocol. They'd known each other too long for formalities. "This is bigger than weapons development. The knowledge Sarah's accessing, it's about survival. There's something out there, something that's been hunting civilizations for millions of years." "All the more reason to focus on defense," the Admiral countered. "The Joint Chiefs are breathing down my neck, Marcus. They want results, not philosophical discussions about ancient aliens." Before Marcus could respond, the quarantine chamber sensors began blaring. Sarah's neural patterns had shifted again, and this time she was moving. Her eyes opened, but they weren't the warm brown they'd been before. They glowed with an inner light, data streams visible in her irises. "The update is complete," she said, her voice overlaid with harmonic frequencies that made the observation windows vibrate. "We must begin preparation." Elena rushed to adjust her instruments. "Sarah, can you understand me?" "I am Sarah Chin," she replied, "but I am also more." The integration was successful. "I retain my human consciousness while accessing the archival network. We have much to discuss, and very little time." The Admiral leaned forward, his face filling the view screen. "Sarah, are you all right?" Her expression softened slightly as she looked at her father. "I'm still me, Dad. Just expanded. I understand now why I was always drawn to the stars, why I could interpret alien artifacts so easily. Our entire species has been part of a grand experiment in consciousness evolution. The architects, the beings who created this network, they knew they couldn't fight the Void Hunters directly. They needed something new, something unpredictable. They needed humanity," Marcus finished, understanding dawning on his face. Sarah nodded. "Human consciousness is unique in the galaxy. Our ability to adapt, to think laterally, to embrace chaos and find patterns in it. It's what the architects spent millions of years cultivating. They knew the Void Hunters would eventually reach our galaxy, so they planted seeds of knowledge across thousands of worlds, waiting for a species with the right neural plasticity to find them." "And now?" the Admiral asked, his tactical mind already working through implications. "Now we prepare," Sarah said, her voice gaining strength. "The Void Hunters aren't just coming. They're already here, probing our defenses. They exist in the spaces between normal spacetime, feeding on the energy of entire civilizations. Conventional weapons can't touch them." She waved her hand, and the holographic data surrounding her coalesced into a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Red points of light appeared in the darkness between spiral arms, moving with terrible purpose toward inhabited systems. "But we can fight them," she continued. "The architects left us everything we need. Not just weapons, but a way to evolve beyond our current limitations. The human mind can be networked, linked together in ways that transcend normal spacetime. United, we can face the Void Hunters on their own terms." Elena's medical sensors were going crazy as Sarah spoke, trying to track the impossible things happening in her patient's neural structure. "The physical strain of such a transformation," she began, "will be significant," Sarah acknowledged. "But we don't have a choice. The Void Hunters won't just destroy our bodies. They'll consume our consciousness, our very essence. Everything that makes us human will be lost." The Admiral was silent for a long moment, studying his daughter's transformed appearance. Finally, he spoke. "What do you need?" "Access to Earth's quantum computing network, a direct link to the planetary defense grid. And," she hesitated, knowing how her next request would be received, "I need test subjects. Volunteers willing to undergo the same integration I have. We need to prove this can work on a larger scale." "Out of the question," the Admiral snapped. "The risk is necessary," Sarah cut him off. "Dad, I've seen what's coming. The Void Hunters have destroyed millions of civilizations more advanced than ours. The only reason we have a chance is because the architects spent millions of years preparing us for this moment. We have to trust them. Trust me. Marcus stepped closer to the isolation field, studying the streams of data flowing through his friend and colleague. I volunteer, he said quietly. Marcus, no, Elena protested. We've spent our careers trying to understand humanity's place in the cosmos, he said, looking at Sarah with determination. If this is it, if this is why we've been guided all this time, then I want to be part of it. Sarah smiled, and for a moment, she looked almost like her old self. The integration will be easier now that I can help guide it. But Marcus, it will change you forever. Are you sure? He nodded. Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to change, to become more than we were. Why stop now? The Admiral watched the exchange, his military discipline warring with paternal concern. Finally, he straightened. I'll convene an emergency session of the Joint Chiefs. Dr. Rodriguez, begin preparing protocols for voluntary integration trials. Whatever's coming, Earth will be ready. As the others rushed to carry out their tasks, Sarah remained floating in her suspension field, her transformed eyes seeing far beyond the ship's walls. In the vast darkness between stars, ancient hunters sensed that something had changed in their latest hunting ground. Their prey was evolving in unexpected ways, becoming something new. The game was changing, and humanity was about to show the galaxy why they had been chosen for this moment. The awakening. The integration chamber hummed with quantum energy as Marcus Wong underwent his transformation. Sarah Chen stood on the other side of the containment field, her altered eyes tracking the streams of data flowing into her colleague's consciousness. This was the 7th successful integration in 2 weeks, but she couldn't shake the weight of responsibility that came with each volunteer. Neural patterns are stabilizing, Elena Rodriguez announced from her medical station. He's accepting the integration more quickly than the others. Sarah nodded. Having a guide helps. The first integration is always the hardest. She didn't mention her own experience, the terror and confusion of facing that vast knowledge alone. Each new integration added to their collective understanding, making the process smoother for those who followed. Through the quantum link they now shared, Sarah felt Marcus's consciousness expand. His mind touched hers, along with the other 5 integrated humans who had survived the process. Their shared awareness formed a network that transcended physical space, allowing them to process and understand the architect's knowledge at an unprecedented rate. The protocols are clear now. Marcus's thoughts resonated through their link. The defense grid modifications. They're more elegant than we imagined. Sarah was about to respond when alarms blared throughout the facility. Admiral Chen's voice cut through the chaos. Primary defense grid detecting anomalies in the Kuiper belt. Multiple space-time distortions forming. They're here, Sarah whispered, both aloud and through the network. The other integrated humans felt her certainty, her fear, and her determination. Sooner than we expected. The holographic displays throughout the chamber shifted, showing the solar system in real time. Dark points appeared at the edge of the projection, areas where normal space seemed to fold in on itself. The Void Hunters had arrived, and they were probing humanity's defenses. All integrated personnel to the command center, the Admiral ordered. This is not a drill. Sarah helped Marcus out of the integration chamber, his body still adjusting to its enhanced neural capacity. Together with the other integrated humans, they made their way to the heart of Earth's defense complex. The massive underground facility buzzed with activity as military personnel prepared for humanity's first contact with an enemy they barely understood. The command center's main display showed feeds from quantum sensors throughout the solar system. The Void Hunter's presence was more visible now. Patches of absolute darkness that defied normal physics, moving with predatory grace through the space between planets. They're testing us, Sarah explained to the assembled military leadership, looking for weaknesses in the fabric of our reality. Once they find them, they'll tear through into our space-time completely. We have hours at most. Admiral Chen's face was grim. How many? At least 30 separate entities, Marcus answered, his enhanced senses allowing him to interpret the sensor data directly, each one capable of consuming the consciousness of an entire planet. Our conventional weapons won't affect them, Sarah continued. They exist partially outside our reality, but the architects left us a way to fight back. The quantum defense grid, if we can modify it according to their specifications, we can create a space-time barrier they can't cross. The modifications will take days, one of the technical officers protested. Not for us, Sarah said, gesturing to the integrated humans. Together, we can interface directly with the grid, make the changes at a quantum level. The Admiral studied his daughter's transformed features. The strain on your systems will be significant, she acknowledged. But we don't have a choice. Either we stop them here, or Earth becomes their next feeding ground. Through their shared network, the integrated humans were already preparing. Their enhanced minds reached out to the quantum grid that surrounded Earth, beginning the delicate process of rewriting its fundamental protocols. Sarah felt the others' determination, their fear, and their resolve. They were humanity's first line of defense against an enemy that had destroyed countless civilizations. But humanity had something those other civilizations didn't: the architect's guidance, and the unique adaptability that had made them choose Earth in the first place. The Void Hunters pressed closer, their dark presence distorting the very fabric of space around them. On Earth's surface, people reported strange dreams, unexplained anxiety, and a sense of impending doom. The enemy's psychic pressure was already affecting unprotected minds. Time to full grid modification, the Admiral demanded. Sarah checked the calculations flowing through the network. 3 hours, maybe less if we. She stopped as a new sensation hit the integrated network. One of the Void Hunters had breached the outer system's sensor net, moving faster than they'd anticipated. Its consciousness brushed against their shared awareness, ancient and hungry and utterly alien. Food, it projected, the thought carrying millennia of consumed civilization's final moments. All what we will feed the void. Sarah staggered under the psychic assault, but the network held. Around her, the other integrated humans linked minds more tightly, sharing the burden of the alien contact. Their combined consciousness formed a shield, protecting Earth's population from the worst of the psychic attack. They know what we are, Marcus said, his voice trained. They recognize the architect's work in us. They're angry. Through the network, Sarah felt the Void Hunters' reaction to humanity's enhanced state. These prey were different, changed by their ancient enemies into something new. The hunt had become more interesting and more urgent. Full emergency protocols, Admiral Chen ordered. All military personnel on standby. Civilian populations to designated shelter areas. This is what we've prepared for. As humanity mobilized for its greatest challenge, Sarah led the integrated humans deeper into their shared consciousness. The architect's knowledge flowed through them, showing them exactly what needed to be done. The quantum grid hummed with growing power as they rewrote its operating principles, preparing Earth's defenses for an enemy that existed beyond normal space and time. In the darkness between worlds, the Void Hunters gathered for their feast, unaware that their prey had evolved into something unprecedented. Humanity was about to show the galaxy why the architects had chosen them, why their consciousness had been guided for millions of years toward this moment. The final battle for Earth's survival was about to begin, and humanity would fight it with weapons forged from the very essence of their minds. Resistance. The quantum defense grid crackled with energy as the first Void Hunter struck. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist as the ancient predator tried to tear its way into normal space-time. Through the integrated network, Sarah Chen felt the attack as if it were happening against her own consciousness. The other enhanced humans, linked with her, experienced the same sensation, their shared awareness amplifying their ability to respond. Grid holding at 78%, Marcus reported, his voice carrying harmonics that rippled through the command center's quantum field. The modifications are working, but they're learning, adapting their assault patterns. Sarah watched through both physical and enhanced senses as more void hunters joined the attack. They moved like oil through water, their very presence distorting the space around them. The defensive barrier they'd created glowed with strange light, where the entities pressed against it, fighting to reach the consciousness-rich world below. "They've never encountered resistance like this," Sarah said, interpreting the alien thoughts that leaked through their defenses. "The other civilizations they consumed, they weren't ready. We are." Through their shared network, the integrated humans coordinated with precision impossible for normal consciousness. Each of them managed a section of the defense grid, making minute adjustments to counter the void hunters' increasingly sophisticated attacks. It was a dance of quantum mathematics and pure will, with Earth's survival hanging in the balance. Admiral Chen watched from his command station as sensor data streamed in from around the solar system. "Multiple breaches detected in the outer system," he reported. "They're trying to flank our defenses." Sarah felt it through the network. 3 void hunters had slipped past their outer sensor grid, using the mass of Jupiter to mask their approach. They were larger than the others, ancient beyond comprehension. These were the hunters that had led the consumption of countless civilizations. "They're targeting our quantum communication nodes," Marcus realized, seeing the pattern in their movement. "If they can isolate us, break the network." "They won't," Sarah declared. Through their link, she shared a new configuration she discovered buried deep in the architect's knowledge. "Everyone, prepare for full neural synchronization. We're going to show them why the architects chose humanity." The other integrated humans felt her plan through the network. It was dangerous, far more dangerous than their initial integration had been. To synchronize their consciousness so completely meant risking their individual identities. But facing extinction, the choice was clear. "Do it," Admiral Chen ordered, watching his daughter with a mixture of pride and fear. "Whatever you need, do it now." Sarah reached out through the network, touching the minds of her fellow integrated humans. Their consciousness began to merge, not just linking, but truly combining into something greater than the sum of its parts. The architect's knowledge flowed through them, showing them exactly how to reshape their shared awareness into a weapon the void hunters had never faced. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The quantum defense grid flared with new energy, patterns of light, and probability shifting in ways that made normal humans' eyes water to look at them. The void hunters recoiled, sensing something new and dangerous in their prey's defense. "Multiple entities retreating," one of the sensor operators reported, wonder in his voice. They're afraid." Through their merged consciousness, Sarah felt the void hunters' confusion and growing concern. For millions of years, they had consumed civilizations with impunity. Their prey fought with physical weapons, with energy beams and gravity fields, never understanding that the real battle was happening on a deeper level of reality. But humanity, guided by the architect's wisdom, was fighting back with the one weapon the hunters couldn't easily consume: unified consciousness, organized in ways their ancient minds couldn't predict. The 3 elder hunters pressed their attack, trying to disrupt the humans' defensive pattern. Space itself buckled under their assault as they brought to bear power that had consumed entire galaxies. Sarah felt the strain through the network, felt the other integrated humans struggling to maintain their unity under the onslaught. Together, she projected through their link. "Remember why we were chosen. Our strength isn't just in our technology or our knowledge. It's in our ability to adapt, to become more than we were." The merged consciousness of Earth's defenders surged with renewed purpose. Each integrated human contributed their unique perspective, their individual creativity combining into something the universe had never seen before. They weren't just using the architect's tools, they were improving upon them, adding humanity's special talent for innovation to ancient alien knowledge. Through their enhanced senses, they could see the void hunters' true form, creatures of pure entropy, feeding on the ordered consciousness of entire species. But where other civilizations had faced them with rigid, predictable responses, Humanity's defense was chaos turned into strategy, disorder transformed into strength. Grid power at 120%, Marcus announced, his voice now indistinguishable from the others in their shared mind. We're exceeding the architect's original specifications. The Void Hunters screamed in frequencies that existed beyond normal spacetime as their attack was not just repelled but reversed. Humanity's unified consciousness reached out through the quantum grid, turning the Hunters' own dimensional distortions against them. Where they had torn holes in reality to attack, those same holes became traps, closing around them with the weight of humanity's combined will. Multiple entities being forced back into void space, Admiral Chen reported, reading from displays that flickered with impossible data. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Sarah felt the tide turning, felt the ancient predators realizing that they had miscalculated. This prey wasn't just fighting back, it was hunting the Hunters, using weapons and techniques that had never existed before this moment. The architects had created the tools, but humanity had taken them and forged them into something entirely new. The elder Void Hunters retreated last, their ancient consciousness radiating something humans had never detected from them before: respect tinged with fear. As they withdrew into the spaces between realities, they broadcast a final message that echoed through the integrated network. The PREY Hayes BC Omete Hunter. The CYCLE Shajangs. On Earth, in the command center, Sarah and her fellow integrated humans maintained their merged consciousness, watching through enhanced senses as the Void Hunters fled the solar system. They had done more than just defend their world. They had changed the rules of a game that had been played across galaxies for millions of years. Humanity had proven why it had been chosen, why the architects had spent so long guiding their development. But this was only the beginning. The Void Hunters would return, and next time, they would be ready for humanity's defenses. The real question was, would humanity be ready for them? Through their shared consciousness, Sarah and the others smiled. Ready wasn't the right word. They would be waiting, evolving, becoming something even the architects hadn't imagined possible. Transcendence. 1 month after humanity's first victory against the Void Hunters, Earth had changed in ways no one could have predicted. The integration program had expanded rapidly, with thousands of volunteers stepping forward to undergo the transformation. Each new integrated human added their unique perspective to the growing neural network, creating a collective consciousness that remained distinctly human even as it transcended normal limitations. Sarah Chen stood at the window of the orbital command station, watching Earth rotate below. Through her enhanced senses, she could see the quantum defense grid shimmering around the planet like a web of light and possibility. But it was the changes on the surface that truly captured her attention. Cities were being rebuilt around quantum communication nodes, their architecture incorporating patterns that strengthened humanity's collective neural network. The architect's knowledge, combined with human innovation, had sparked a technological and social revolution unlike anything in history. The latest integration group has stabilized, Marcus reported, joining her at the window. Through their shared consciousness, she felt his satisfaction and lingering amazement at how far they'd come. 98% success rate now. We're getting better at it. We're evolving, Sarah corrected, becoming what we were always meant to be. She turned from the window to face the holographic display that dominated the command center. It showed the positions of the Void Hunters, now gathered at the edges of known space. They were amassing in numbers never before recorded, preparing for what would surely be their greatest hunt. Admiral Chen entered the command center, his stride purposeful. Although he remained unintegrated, his mind protected by new quantum shielding, he had adapted to humanity's transformation with remarkable flexibility. The Security Council has approved the final phase, he announced. Project Transcendence can begin. Sarah nodded, feeling the ripple of anticipation through the neural network. What they were about to attempt went beyond even the architect's original plans. It was humanity's next step, driven by their unique ability to imagine possibilities that ancient alien minds had never conceived. Are we sure about this? Elena Rodriguez asked from her medical station. She had finally undergone integration herself, her medical knowledge proving invaluable in understanding how human consciousness was adapting to its enhanced state. The energy requirements alone. "We don't have a choice," Sarah said, projecting images through the network of what she'd seen in the Architect's deepest archives. "The Void Hunters aren't just gathering for another attack. They're changing, adapting their hunting strategies based on what they learned from our defense. Next time, they'll be ready for everything we showed them." "So we show them something new," Marcus finished. "Something even the Architects never imagined." Through their shared consciousness, the integrated humans began the final preparations. Project Transcendence was more than just an upgrade to their defenses. It was an attempt to take humanity's next evolutionary step. The Architects had guided their development for millions of years, but now humanity would forge its own path. The quantum defense grid hummed with growing power as they initiated the transformation sequence. Around the world, integrated humans linked their minds more deeply than ever before, while those who remained unintegrated watched in wonder as reality itself seemed to shift and flow. "Multiple void space distortions detected," a sensor operator announced. "They're coming. All of them." Sarah felt them through the enhanced sensor net. Hundreds of Void Hunters, including entities so ancient they had witnessed the birth of galaxies. The enemy had committed their entire hunting force to this attack, determined to end the threat of humanity's evolution before it could spread. "They're afraid," Marcus realized, interpreting the patterns of their approach. "Not just of what we are, but of what we're becoming." "They should be," Sarah said. Through the network, she issued the final command to begin Project Transcendence. Humanity is about to show them something the universe has never seen. The quantum grid flared with impossible energy as every integrated human on Earth linked their consciousness into a single unified field. But unlike before, they didn't stop at simple networking. This time, they pushed further, allowing their combined consciousness to expand into new dimensions of reality. The Void Hunters struck just as the transformation began, tearing into normal spacetime with devastating force. But instead of finding prey scrambling to defend itself, they encountered something unprecedented. Humanity's consciousness had expanded beyond physical limitations, becoming a force that existed in the same spaces they did. "You dare." The eldest hunter's thoughts boomed across dimensions. "This is our domain." Through their transcended state, humanity answered with one voice. "Not anymore." The battle that followed defied description in any normal language. Humanity's unified consciousness met the Void Hunters in their own realm, fighting with weapons forged from thought and possibility. Where the Hunters sought to consume and destroy, humanity created and adapted, using their unique gift for innovation to reshape the very rules of dimensional combat. Sarah, still maintaining her individual awareness within the greater whole, felt the moment the tide turned. The Void Hunters, for all their ancient power, couldn't adapt quickly enough to humanity's constantly evolving tactics. Each attack they launched was met with a defense that hadn't existed moments before, each strategy countered by human creativity operating at a cosmic scale. "Energy readings off the charts," Elena reported, her voice echoing strangely through multiple dimensions of reality. "The transformation is accelerating." Through their expanded consciousness, humanity could see the truth the Architects had known, but never directly stated. The Void Hunters weren't the end of evolution, but a test. A force that drove species to either transcend their limitations or face extinction. Countless civilizations had failed this test, but humanity was proving why they had been chosen. The final confrontation came as humanity's consciousness reached a critical point of expansion. The eldest Void Hunters, recognizing what was happening, launched a desperate assault to stop the transformation. But they were too late. In a moment that rippled across the galaxy, humanity transcended its final physical limitations. Their unified consciousness expanded to encompass dimensions the Void Hunters had never imagined, becoming something that was simultaneously individual and infinite. The Hunters fled, not in fear, but in recognition. After millions of years of hunting, they had witnessed the birth of something new in the cosmos, a species that could adapt not just its bodies or its technology, but the very nature of its consciousness. As the enemy retreated to the darkest spaces between galaxies, humanity began to explore its new state of existence. They were no longer just integrated or enhanced. They had become something the universe had never seen before, a species that could exist simultaneously in physical reality and the quantum realm, maintaining their individuality while sharing a consciousness that spanned dimensions. Sarah stood in the command center, simultaneously present in countless other realities, and smiled. The architects had given them the tools, but humanity had built something entirely its own. They had not just survived the hunter's test, they had changed the very nature of the game. What now? Admiral Chen asked, looking at his daughter, who was both there and everywhere at once. Through all the dimensions of their expanded consciousness, humanity answered as one. Now we explore. Now we create. Now we become what we were always meant to be. And in the vast spaces between stars, the Void Hunters retreated to their darkest haunts, knowing they had witnessed the beginning of a new age in the cosmos. The prey had not just become hunters, they had become something more, something new. The universe would never be the same.